So here we will be learning how to use some keyframes, which are some pretty essential things how to know how to use in order to move around your text, your images, your video. There's a lot of things that you can do with keyframes. So you should have gone ahead and downloaded the file that I put up on Canvas for you to use for this. So that's going to leave you with a 5-second video sequence, and all it says is your name right now. So we're going to be clicking on that, and when we click on that, we are going to have all this stuff here in effect controls. So effect controls is primarily where we're going to be working today. We're not going to be working too much with any of the tools over here, but I want to add some movement. So I've gone ahead and I've set up a lot of this for you. I've got two different separate text. The words are in separate parts. So I've got your, and then I've got name is a separate one. So you're going to need to go in with the text tool. I guess you will need to change that at least once and change that so that it is actually your name. So it should not stay as saying what I left it. But you're going to start with your. And I'm going to go ahead and move this up right now. So if you don't want to have as many options, if that's kind of overwhelming, you can press this little arrow that's pointing down right now, and that'll swivel up. And now I'm only looking at your. So that eliminates a lot of other options. So over here, I've already put it as Montserrat. There's a lot of different fonts available for you. If you click right here, it says Add Adobe Fonts, and if you click on that, you can go to Adobe's website, and they actually have a ton of different fonts available for you. But I've gone ahead and put it as Montserrat, and I put that as bold. But if I just leave it here and don't do anything with it, it's going to be kind of dull. So I'm going to add some movement, and we're going to use keyframes to add movement. So I'm going to go over here down towards the end, and I'm going to scroll down over here to position. Okay, so to start using keyframes, I need to press this little stopwatch icon right here. Okay, still not going to move anywhere yet because I need to make two ends to it. So at the other end of it, towards the beginning, I'm going to go, and if I press, I don't want to press this stopwatch again because that'll actually delete the keyframe, but I want to use this to add a keyframe. Okay, so now I'm here at the beginning, and I can move it. So again, there's no movement yet. One key that's going to be very useful for you here is holding down Shift when you are dragging, and that's going to allow you to just go to the next keyframe. It'll automatically go to wherever that is. You can also use these little arrows right here to go to the previous or next keyframe. So I'm going to use the first value here, which is going to be the x-axis, and then if I move that, now it's going off frame. And what Premiere will do is it will actually create the movement between those two spots. Okay, so that was really, I got movement, but that's not very exciting movement, and I don't really love the way that looks. So I'm going to mess around with it, and you need to know how to manipulate keyframes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, I'm going to move that closer to the beginning, actually the very beginning, so it starts off screen completely, and then I'll go right about here, again holding Shift, and now, okay, so that's a little bit better. You could move that a little bit closer if you want, but what I want you to do is try to make that a little smoother, because right now it's just very, very kind of blockish. So what you need to do is right-click, go to Spatial Interpolation, and I'm sorry, Temporal Interpolation, and we're going to go Ease In, and that'll change this icon right here. So what that'll do is it'll start off a little faster, and then it'll slow down as it gets closer because it kind of smooths it in. So ease in will change that. And you can actually go and do a little bit more if you press the arrow that's pointing right and swivel that down, and you can actually mess with that. I'm messing with the little lines there and dragging that. So now it'll start off really fast, and now it'll be really obvious when it slows down. Okay, so you can see that when you are at the end there, it kind of slows down, and I like the way that looks. So do that for the first word, and for the second word, now we're going to need to get out of your, because we're not using your anymore. You can see the text right there. We're not using your anymore, and we're going to switch over to name. So I'm going to unspool that. Okay, this is Montserrat as well, but this is thin. So I'm going to go down here, and this time, instead of messing with the scale or the position, I'm going to mess with opacity. So I can see right here, these are the two beginning and end points for your. I can't affect them anymore. That's what the little circle means. I have to unspool it to get back to where I can actually mess with it, but I can see where it stops it in. So I want to go back to where the your has stopped moving, and then I'm going to make a keyframe for opacity. I'm going to start that. Again, there's not any movement yet. I'm going to move a little bit down and make another keyframe. I want the first, so right now it's at 100%. Opacity is like how much we can see of it, like how transparent is it. So if it's 100%, it's going to be solid. It's not going to be transparent at all. But I'm going to go ahead and change the first value, because I'm on the first keyframe, to 0. So now opacity is gone. So I've got your moving in there, and then name slowly moves in there. So we're almost done. I've got one more thing that I want to do, and that's add a little bit of zoom. So this is going to be something that's valuable for your club ad assignment, just because if you leave your text there and it's not doing anything, it's going to be kind of boring. There's lots of different things you can do here. You can rotate it. All the different options here can be changed. But I'm going to go here now to motion. So now I'm affecting the whole thing. I'm not just affecting one word, but I'm affecting the whole thing. I'm going to unspool that. And I want to start this right here where the big kind of the two words meet and they started moving. And I'm going to start by making a timer for scale, and I'm going to move it way down here and make another spot. And I don't want it to be too over the top, so I'm just going to make the scale 120, and that'll make a slight zoom. So, and if I go back and watch that, and there you go.